Hello, hello! Welcome to CoH2 replay cast. It's gonna be a 1v1 on Arnhem. We're gonna have Americans, Livo de Saro, and Wehrmacht. Let me open up my HUD. Earth, who sent in the replay, of course. Playing as Wehrmacht. So, Arnhem checkpoint, 1v1, pretty good 1v1 map. Lots of buildings in the center, as you can see. Tons of heavy cover all around, pretty much. On the right side, you have a little bit of open field with this line of sight blocking vineyard and the fuel point, and pretty much that. On the left side, there's not much. A few fences, a little bit of cover, and a fuel point over here. That's pretty easy to harass, as well as this one. And there's a couple of cutoffs. There's this cutoff and this cutoff, which are pretty easy to harass too, but they do have heavy negative cover, so you need to be careful. So it looks like Earth is going to go for an MG42 Grenadier squad, normal opening, wants to go safe, getting out of suppression pretty early on. On the other side, Americans went for riflemen, couple riflemen opening. We'll see if he goes lieutenant or captain later on, and how many riflemen he decides to get. For doctrines, we have armor, airborne, rifle, the classic loadout, though probably not the most effective at this point in the meta. And on the other side, mobile defense, lightning war, and Austruppen, all very good commanders. So first engagement's gonna come out from riflemen. Riflemen are gonna force back these engineers into the church and take cover behind these cars. Try to retake this strategic point as soon as possible. Rear echelons and riflemen capping up the right side for the Americans, ensuring some good resource income from both these players. Grenadier is going to go ahead and get the fuel point in the middle. Looks like the MG42 is going to be set up over here in this house. Pioneers in the church are probably going to retreat after the MG sets up. Actually, the MG gets out of the house and tries to get it into the church. Not sure I agree with that. Actually, no. He will set up over here and probably nicely catch these riflemen. Actually, no, they will get into heavy cover, and the heavy cover will be able to stop the suppression from just ruining the rifleman squad. Combat engineers are about to go down, and they will probably force retreat along with the MG, which took 2 model losses, so that's very bad. Pretty bad start for Earth. Again, he should have stayed into this house, in my opinion, and gotten his engineers out of there and tried to bait the riflemen into a bad engagement where they got surprised and suppressed by the MG. On the other side, the rear echelon squad is going to be able to cap up most of the right side and also the munitions point on the other side. Riflemen actually taking heavy damage from the Grenadiers in the house. This house is very powerful. Always want to have control of that when you're playing in the north side. Riflemen gotta come down and get the cutoff. They are partially in negative cover, but they are mostly in no cover. So these Grenadiers at long range will probably be able to do some heavy damage to them. Actually, no, it looks like he tried to get into this heavy cover, which is a bad idea because even at close range, the riflemen are going to be superior to the Grenadiers. At this point, though, in the center, this rifleman squad is about to go down and will probably have to retreat, as well as this Grenadier squad on the left was forced to retreat once again. Get some GGs going down for some reason. MG42 gonna try to set up and fire at the rifleman, but he did not have any line of sight, so he's gonna need to bait the rifleman in or otherwise play more careful. The Grenadiers is not gonna go for the VP, interestingly. Probably gonna go for the cutoff. Yep. Only a rear echelon are there to stop it. But only rear echelon squad is there to stop it, so that's not gonna go down. Unfortunately, because of the control of this strategic point, I don't think it's gonna cut off the fuel income, because this point connects to the VP and that connects to the base. So always something to keep in mind there. MG42 almost going down, gonna pin down these riflemen. Other rifleman squad in heavy cover are gonna do heavy damage to the MG, but also take very heavy losses from the flanking Grenadier squad. Another lieutenant actually gonna come in. Nice teching up to the lieutenant. Looks like he won't go for an M20, probably a flat half track, or maybe even a major rush. Lieutenant is going to engage at long range against these Grenadiers. Normally it's not that optimal of a fight, but these Grenadiers are very low HP, so it might go pretty well for them. rear echelons and pioneers are going to fight each other from the two buildings, which is not going to go well for either of the squads. Nicely gonna sneak into the house of the Grenadiers and start dropping some of the models off the lieutenant. Looks like the lieutenant was actually the first one to die, so that's 50 manpower down the drain, and a Thompson that cannot be used. So he did go for a 50 cal, which I agree with. With all the buildings that are around, the 50 cal can be pretty useful, especially containing this heavy tier 1 from the Wehrmacht. Gonna be able to force these Grenadiers off the field pretty easily. No phase 1 yet, so the flak half-track that's gonna come out with no phase 1 or phase 2 to get any kind of counters out, like a pack or an Ostwind in the future. It's pretty bad. So this flak half-track is gonna have pretty much free reign for for quite a while in the game. So it looks like he did manage to get the strategic point for the cutoff and also the VP, but as you can see, the fuel point is still controlled by the allies and also still connected by this stretch of road. At the same time, the engagements in the center are not going too particularly well for either of the players. A lot of squads are very low HP. Should probably consider getting a medic bunker. As you can see, he's already doing it, so that's pretty good. And an ambulance should be considered for the Americans as well. He is close to the manpower required for that. So at this moment, the flak half-track is going to make its first appearance. Shoot up some Grenadiers in the house. Looks like he actually decides to derp around with it a little bit before he finally settles into shooting at the Grenadiers. The flak half-track isn't too effective against the buildings, but it's definitely pretty effective. So it can do pretty well. Map control right now is definitely in favor of the Americans. They have pretty much most of the map, and they have the cutoff for the Germans, and they've had the cutoff for the Germans for a while. So definitely pretty big advantage for the Americans in terms of resource income, which really shows because he was able to get a pretty quick flak half-track, and now he's still got 60 fuel in the bank, so he's going to be able to tech up to a major fairly soon and try to get out possibly a Sherman. Or maybe even tech captain as well, which looks like no, he's going for bazookas. Bazookas, I do not agree with this decision. Though perhaps he's going with the weapon upgrades mostly for bars. So Pounce is going to go down on the flak half-track. Flak half-track is going to be able to decrew the MG likely, which is good because the MG was loading AP rounds to finish off the flak once the Pounce hit. So he definitely good use of line of sight from Earth, hiding the Grenadiers behind the house and jumping out at the proper moment to Panzerfaust the half-track. So finally Earth is going to be able to get control of the American cutoff. This point was neutralized earlier, so we'll definitely cut it off this time. Lieutenant, very low HP, about to die from these Grenadiers. Grenadiers will be able to regain the left cutoff, thus securing some good fuel income for the Germans who did go mobile defense. I agree with the decision because when you're behind on teching and you have American light vehicles giving you a lot of trouble like this, Pumas are very useful. With that 5 command points, you can get them fairly early on. Definitely early on enough to do a pretty decent difference, considering if you don't have to pay for their teching. So after this is something that it's really good to do. After he went for the cutoff, he also went for decapping the fuel point itself, but it was forced back by the flak half-track. Still good, pretty good idea. He actually went for mostly bazookas. So it's like 2 bazookas on this one, on these 2 rifleman squads, and 2 bazookas as well on this squad. So 6 bazookas. That's 300 munitions, probably. Yeah, 300 munitions. So that's pretty damn expensive. He did use most of his munitions, but he does still have a pretty decent reserve. Definitely afraid of any kind of German vehicles that are coming up. I'm not sure I entirely agree. I mean, he did go lieutenant here, so I guess there's also the fact that he cannot get any AT guns. But that will definitely decrease his firepower against infantry. Perhaps getting this 50 cal out of the building reinforced and another 50 cal on the field would help him against the German infantry. course, the flak half-track is doing a pretty good job of it anyway, smashing up this infantry squad in the building, securing pretty much the entire right side because Earth is being forced to send all of his guys to one side, considering the flak half-track giving the Americans pretty good superiority right now. Grenadiers will be suppressed, even in heavy cover, by the autocannon fire. Trying desperately to regain this strategic point. He needs the fuel income pretty desperately, and also he needs to, in a way, he needs to also fight because he wants to get the command points for a Puma. Once the Puma is out, he will be able to counter the flak half-track and probably regain enough map control to go for a little bit of a later game with the command tank. So, despite the pretty grim situation, I still believe Earth can recover pretty easily. So Puma is available. I think we will instantly call it in, as you can see, dead. Puma has a target weak point, the Wehrmacht one. The OKW one does not have target weak point, which honestly makes it a bit weaker. So there's always something to keep in mind when you're playing against Wehrmacht, is that the Pumas that they get are completely, well, not completely, but are different from the ones that OKW get. So Puma is on the field and is going to try to get a nice shot off on the flak, but the bazookas will pay off for the Americans right now. Of course, if he had managed to get an anti-tank rifle grenade off on the Puma, he might have been able to do quite a lot of damage to it. Actually, this one rifleman squad going down from the Grenadiers, so that's very good for Earth. Getting a rifleman squad down and also dropping the one bazooka and also taking out the other bazooka, so that's 150 munitions as well, well, 100 munitions as well, going down the drain along with the manpower, so that's a pretty good trade. Rifle grenade is going to be avoided pretty well by the riflemen. And the bazookas are doing a decent enough job to keep the Puma away. Definitely pretty good. Pioneers will be sent to repair the Puma. So Americans right now still keeping control of the strategic point over here. Unfortunately for the Americans, they are pretty low on infantry, and he is not rebuilding an infantry squad, even though he could, because he's floating quite a bit of manpower. He went for Rifleman Company. No, Rifle Company. He went for Rifle Company. He's gonna go for some flamethrowers in his rear echelons, which can work out, but really not as good as the Rifleman Flamers used to be. Puma almost going down. Will be saved by the quick retreat and the Pioneers. So another bazooka dropping. That's definitely not good, and probably flak half-track is gonna go down. Actually, no, because there's no munitions. Oh, nice, very nice play with the Puma. Not afraid even with the low HP to go in and finish off the flak half-track. Definitely a good bold play. Fortunately for Earth, the Americans still have a lot of resource control. What the Americans right now need to do is continue to use their manpower and resources, because right now they are in a pretty good situation, but they lack infantry a lot. He should be going for a major fairly soon. And yeah, just try to finish off the game with maybe a quick easy 8. As you can see, these buildings in the center make for a pretty good grenadier ground. You should definitely be using the rear echelon flamers to get the grenadiers out of these mid houses. And probably use the second rear echelon to get the some of the bazookas that are lying on the ground, both over here and over here. No, looks like this one was picked up by the Pioneers. So that's definitely good for Earth. Rear echelons with the flamethrower, let's see how they do. Probably not very well. Vet Grenadier is going to pick them off pretty easily before they are able to do any kind of significant damage. White Phosphorus did go down on the center house to save the MG, so that's pretty worth it, honestly. Pushing the Grenadiers out of the house and saving the MG, which definitely should go and try to get a little bit of reinforcements. MG setting up a negative cover, really not too great. It is going to be sniped by a rifle grenade. Nicely able to pin the Grenadiers before they are able to do any more damage to it. Puma is going to be forced back by the riflemen with the bazookas. Right now, Earth is floating a heck of a lot of manpower. Definitely going for phase 2, tier 2, and phase 2. He does have the resources for both the upgrade and the building. With a tier 2, he would be able to get a pack done with all the manpower that he has, and he definitely needs one as a Sherman is coming up on the field. Not sure I entirely agree with the Sherman, but I don't agree with it in a blind setting, but I do agree with it as a caster right now, because there's really no danger of any German armor that's coming on the field anytime soon. The only armor that's going to come on the field is the command tank, and the command tank really, the Sherman is enough to deal with the command tank pretty easily. Volley fire going to be activated. Volley fire does not work on the flamer, so yeah, does not make your flamethrower fire faster, and the rear echelons are wiped from the field. As you can see right now, the choice of going for some rear echelon flamers was actually pretty bad in my opinion, and they were not even used correctly anyway. They should have been used to take the grenadiers out of the houses. Second Puma on the field, you should have been able to see it from the bar down here that the ability had been used. So command tank will be available soon, a few minutes, and you will have enough fuel. MG, gonna suppress some of these riflemen. Really, the Americans are lacking in infantry a lot, and you know, a Sherman sending in a Sherman against 2 Pumas is really not a good idea actually, because the Pumas are pretty good against the front armor of the Sherman anyway. So it is going to be stunned by the target weak point. Very good use of target weak point. He is going to be able to possibly run away with this damaged Puma. The other Puma is going to be able to snipe the Sherman from long range, and the Sherman is almost dead. Looks like he will be able to take out this one Puma. No, why are you retreating? Yeah, good job. So he definitely could have played that one better with the Sherman, but he did manage to get a victory out of it at the end. Sniper coming out for Earth, I do not agree with that decision. I think a Puma, no, not a Puma, a pack gun would have been better for the manpower. Fighting position was not upgraded to a machine gun emplacement for some reason, and now he will pay the price. So loses the VP, will lose the VP likely, and also the fighting position. Sniper will start going to work on the MG and the rifleman, so definitely going to start doing some damage, but unfortunately he retreats that for really no reason. It was in no danger at all. So the Sherman right now is going to be a problem for the Earth, mainly because he decided, oh, I do not agree with this. I think he should have gone for a command tank. Because of all the grenadiers that he has, the command tank will eventually be more useful than just getting a lot of Pumas. So he finally gets another rifleman squad, which is definitely good. He needs some riflemen right now to cap around the map and maintain his map control that he's had for the entire game. As you can see right now, he's got complete VP lead. I hadn't touched on this, but he pretty much has all of the VPs, and just by the skin of his teeth, Earth is going to be able to get in control of these left VP, and also probably the middle VP fairly soon, if he does not want to lose. Sherman is going to be pretty useful in forcing back the Axis infantry all over the field, which is why, in my opinion, the command tank to get the defensive bonus to the infantry would have been a pretty good idea, along with a pack gun to take out the Sherman. So right now the Pumas are on the wrong side of the map, and they will reposition to the center. Of course, the center is pretty bad for the Pumas because in this low range environment, they will not shine in the role, which is long range. They will be able to take out the fighting position though, so that's pretty good. Taking out some of those extra resources that went into the fighting position. What right now the Americans need to do is keep up the Sherman production, get another Sherman on the field. Considering that you know that the Axis are going for Pumas, Shermans instead of EZ8s are pretty much a better idea because you don't need the extra anti-tank power, and you want to be able to push back the Axis infantry forces. We do have 5 Grenadiers on the field, and they're almost all vet, and definitely he's been struggling against them. Pumas are going to go for a flank. A very dangerous play right now for the Pumas, because they will be engaged by the Sherman. And if this Rifleman squad had anti-tank rifle grenades, but anti-tank rifle grenades would have been definitely worse for the Germans, but they still lose a Puma. So Shrek'd up, Zooked up, Pioneers are going to try to force back the Sherman along with the second Puma. It's worthy to note that the Pumas that went down were the bent ones, so no more target waypoints for Earth. Grenadiers in this house should probably try to retreat because they are being pretty much smashed by the Rifleman and Lieutenant. Sherman is going to try to chase this Puma, misses a shot. Puma also misses. 50 cal is going to suppress all of the German infantry, but also going to go down to the sniper and the LMG Grenadiers. As you can see, a pack right here would pretty much force back the Sherman and render it pretty much obsolete. So I do not know why Earth did not go for a pack. He does go for another Puma. At this point, he needs to get Pumas because he really needs to get control of the VPs quickly. And to get control of the VPs quickly, he needs to get the Sherman out of the fight. So he does have one VP on the right and is close to the VP on the left, but this 50 cal in the house will be pretty resilient against whatever he throws at it. He is able to get the control of the center and wiping out the lieutenant, so that's a pretty good play. Though it's more of a misplay for the Americans to not realize that his lieutenant was being smashed early. Sherman is being sent into the fight without proper repairs, which could definitely be bad. Certainly Pumas are ready to go, and they are probably going to come on the field and try to ruin the day of the Sherman pretty early. Grenadiers are able to capture the center VP, but they will not be able to hold it because there's no MG42 able to hold it on. This MG is not being set up. More and more Grenadier squads are being upgraded, which is definitely good for Earth. He does need the extra firepower. At this point, he is in a pretty good position against the American infantry. His main problem is this Vet 2 Sherman. Of course, getting into buildings is pretty good against the Sherman because the HE rounds are not very effective against houses. So it looks like both the bazookas were actually dropped, but looks like no one noticed because the house is in front. Nice grenade, gonna go down on the Grenadier squad, almost wiping it. Definitely lucky for Earth that did not wipe it. 50 cal and lots of riflemen on the retreat point. Gonna probably force back this Grenadier squad. Nice grenade, gonna take out half the squad. At the same time, a pack would have also been useful to take out these fighting positions. So really, I do not know why you didn't go for a pack. I think it would have been a really good idea, and it would have helped you very much. So one rear echelon squad gonna try to sneakily come in and cap the VP. He should actually not stop at the field point and go for the VP, which he is doing, so that's good. On the left side, the Sherman is gonna repel the Pumas. Zooked up riflemen, gonna be pretty ineffective against the Grenadiers even at close range. And the MG42 nicely positioned in the back, gonna be pretty hard to flank. So on the right, he does manage to decap the VP and possibly gonna get the cap soon. So definitely putting the timer on for Earth. 50 cal, Vet 2 50 cal was decrewed by the Grenadiers in the church, and the more Grenadiers are indeed coming into the center of the map and are going to be able to repulse the riflemen that are there. Puma almost going down to the Zook fire. Definitely lucky for that. Captain was actually purchased, which is a bad idea. He should have gone for another Sherman. Another Sherman would have definitely been better than the Captain right now for him. Just so you can get one Sherman on one side and one Sherman on the other side, and make sure that the Pumas cannot be on all the sides at once. So you can win one side pretty much all the time with the Sherman, while the Pumas are busy fighting the other Sherman. So it looks like this 50 cal was recruited from the Germans. which is definitely good. Rear echelons are going to be forced back from the right VP. At this point, with the 25 VPs, Earth should definitely focus on getting only 2 of the VPs and holding them as much as possible. Major is going to be sent in as a meat shield for the Rifleman. Bit of a desperation move. Honestly, the Major would be better used like over here with a retreat point. Yeah, the problem right now for the Americans is that they are pretty much suiciding their units to go on the VPs, which is not a good idea. He does have the VP event. Nice rifle grenade, gonna wipe the Rifleman squad completely off the field. Sherman is going to engage the Grenadiers in the church, but is probably going to be soon repulsed by the Pumas, which are only now being moved into the fight. What the American player should have done right now is, instead of sending scattered units to all the VPs to just try to get VP bleed a little bit of points at a time, he should have concentrated on 2 VPs and tried to hold them, because even with only 2 VPs, it would have been a pretty easy. What's going on? What is this Scott doing? I'm not sure this Puma is doing the correct move. It's going to be pretty much repelled by the Zooks. Oh, unlucky. Oh, nice shot. Okay, so the micro on this fight was kind of spotty, honestly. The Zooks from the rear echelon could have taken out all the Pumas, really, if Earth hadn't been more careful a little bit. And again, getting out of the Sherman to repair, like, so close to the enemy front line is just a bad idea when it's so low HP. So at this point, right now, obviously the Pumas are going to be forced back by the captain, but awesome MG positioning. Too lucky? No, he's not lucky. He's doing well. Again, as I said, what the American player should have done is focused all of his units on one side and the center, because his units being spread out like that were picked off by the superior long range of the German units, and he will surrender. Again, he did play well in the early game with his early game advantage with the Riflemen, but later on, he definitely fucked up on a few things, especially getting the captain was a very bad mistake in my opinion. When you want to be going lieutenant into captain, you want to do it early. You don't want to go lieutenant, major, captain, because once you get lieutenant and then the major, you want to be spending your fuel on major units, like the Sherman Easy 8, and Jackson if you need it. Jackson would have done well against the Pumas, but I don't think it would have been too much of a difference. In my opinion, he should have gone for more Shermans. And if he had gone for more Shermans, I think this game would have been a pretty easily won for him. So yeah, definitely don't drop the ball on certain things. Other than that, rear echelon flamers were not too great of an idea in my opinion, and just general the rifle company in general was not very good. Perhaps armor company and going for M10s and bulldozers would have been better, instead of going for major into Shermans, going for a few M10s into bulldozers. On Earth's side, pretty much playing a bit recklessly with MG's early game. Other than that, mostly good play. He could have gone for a command tank earlier instead of Pumas. The Pumas did work out in the end, but if the American player would have gone a little bit heavier on the infantry, which he should have in my opinion, definitely the command tank would have been very useful. And also, not going for a tier 2 in my opinion is a big mistake. A pad gun would have helped him out a lot in this situation. Would have not forced them, well, would have made it so he wasn't forced into going all of the Pumas. And he could have gone for a command tank earlier, buffed up his infantry, and would have been good to go. Nicely stoling a few of the MGs and the bazookas, so that's good. He could have also played a little bit better with these Pioneers early game, done a little bit more harassment on the right side. It was mostly open the entire game, but he was focusing a bit too much on the left side, even with the Pioneers. The Pioneers could have gone on the right side to harass, which would have been pretty good. So yeah, it was a pretty good game. Thanks to Earth for sending it in. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed and learned something, and I'll see you soon.